Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Remember, if you love film, gaming, or television content, please consider clicking that subscribe button because today we are going to be talking about another whodunit. See how they run. So, let's get into it. See How They Run is an interesting film to me because initially I wasn't all that excited for it. The trailers made this look like a bit of a ripoff of a Wes Anderson film. I mean, it has some of his staple cast. It utilizes some of the symmetrical cinematography and utilizes that quirky dialogue that you would normally see in a Wes Anderson film.
Stop copying me!
However, after watching the film, I can safely say that the marketing let the film down a little bit. This is not just a Wes Anderson ripoff, it's a little bit more than that. I do have to explain though why this has gotten just okay reviews and still say that this is a good movie to go and see at the theaters because I fully understand and do agree with a lot of the scores that it has gotten. I think that this is a film worth going to see because it just feels so nice to see something that isn't just trying to win 10 Oscars or is trying to make $1 billion at the box office. See How They Run just wants you to have a fun time at the theater and that's it. And I think it succeeds tremendously at that. It's almost similar to gaming in a way, where we have the indie games and the big AAA games, but there is a nice little space there with AA games, with games such as Greedfall that provide a fun time, but it won't be really mentioned in any top 10 lists at the end of the year. I think See How They Run fits in a similar space as that, and I'm happy to see that. I also think it's so nice that 2022 is slowly turning into the year of the whodunit. We have had Death on the Nile, Bodies, 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 which I have a review for by the way, so definitely check that one out. Glass Onion is releasing later this year. Even films like Amsterdam look like it may fall into that category a little bit as well. And I'm so happy to see this genre that doesn't normally get that much attention is finally getting that this year. See How They Run definitely falls more in line with a more traditional whodunit, and the film knows that and comments on it, which adds just a nice little comedic charm to the film overall.
I see what you were doing.
As I said before, I thought this would come across as a massive Wes Anderson ripoff, and while it does have some similarities to that style at times, like there is the top-down shots of a desk or a book that are synonymous with Anderson's style, and there is some quirky dialogue, but I'm glad to say it doesn't fall too hard into just doing a lesser version of that style. It takes inspiration from Agatha Christie, and it is very self-aware of that, and because of that, it provides its own little quirks that makes the film very enjoyable and cozy to watch. Let's get into the performances now because they are definitely worth mentioning. This is advertised as a massive ensemble piece and it definitely doesn't really play out that way. Sure, there is an ensemble, but they're not really given an insane amount of attention. The majority of this focuses on the dynamic between Sam Rockwell's and Saoirse Ronan's characters, who are both the highlights of this film. I definitely think that Saoirse Ronan especially nails the performance here as per usual because she is a fantastic actress. The character she plays here is very different from some of the other characters she's played, like the one in Little Women. She is the comedic relief, and I would say that pretty much every joke she delivers lands and made me laugh. She is a little naive at times while being very eager to crack this case. She is a nice opposite to Sam Rockwell, who is kind of that gruff, experienced cop who isn't really passionate about this job anymore. It's one of those films that both characters learn something from each other, and I like how the film played that dynamic out. Now, in terms of what actually lets this film down are actually those major whodunit moments, like the reveal of who did it. I didn't think it was the most compelling reveal, and it was fairly predictable overall. There are also some moments where the dialogue just isn't the most compelling. The main two characters are great, but it's mainly when the rest of the ensemble are explaining something that I would just tune out a little bit because the dialogue just wasn't gripping me. Luckily, the film would pull me in, but there were moments that I just wasn't completely hooked. Overall, I recommend See How They Run to you. It's not a perfect film and it's not at the top of its genre like Knives Out is, but it is something that's worth watching in the theater and will definitely give you a good time, and I think it's perfect for that. As I said earlier, it's so nice to see something that's not trying to win a bunch of Oscars or be this massive spectacle that's trying to make $1 billion. It's kind of refreshing to your palate and gets you ready for those big epic films that will be coming out later in the year. I am going to give See How They Run a 4 out of 5, and I think it's well worth checking out in the theatre. It's a good whodunit, and I'm happy I saw it. Will I be talking about this at the end of the year when I'm talking about the best films of 2022? Probably not, but I'm happy I saw this, especially not too much before I'll be seeing a ton of films at the Brisbane International Film Festival. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. As I mentioned in my last video, which was a full review of Game of Thrones, which you can check out up here, I'm still working on that Better Call Saul review. I'll be doing a review of Blonde, and with both Don't Worry Darling and Amsterdam releasing very soon, expect reviews for both of those films. Lastly, I just saw news that the Brisbane International Film Festival will be unveiling its 2022 lineup 5 days from now, so expect a video of me reacting to that schedule and recommending movies that look promising and could be worth going to see. It's going to be a fun video, so to stay in the loop and be notified of that, please hit that subscribe button with notifications on, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.